So we've got a really exciting topic here, how to use the dots to play shapes. And what we discovered is between the fret nut and the first dot, which falls on the G, you can play your C-shaped stuff right there. C-shaped key of C. You can play a C, you can play an E-shaped F, you can play a G-shaped G, you can play all the regular minors, such as a D minor shaped D minor, an E minor shaped E minor, and an A minor shaped A minor. You can play your locri in there. Anything you can do in that cage, you can do it between the fret nut and the first dot. Now, you can ignore the other dots. Actually, between the G and the A, you have the A shape. So you've got those two cage shapes right there with your dots. So you know you don't have to start on the C. You can just go. Something like that. that was ridiculous. But when you have two cage shapes and you're only dealing with two cage shapes, they one leads to another so easily. So we've got the first. Let's say if we call this E fret 0, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. First 5 frets already scoped out. Now, if you ignore the other frets, just ignore them. Ignore the other dots rather. So if we just ignore the other dots, that means we're going to ignore all this, and we're going to ignore all this. If we do that, we can take these two key of C shapes and just extend them from a starting point onto the next point. So we got our C shape, we got our A shape, and then we go to our D pentatonic, and to the E. So G goes to E engaged. So it gives us a starting point, and it's important to have this strong starting point. It's a two-shape starting point, both key of C, C shape and A shape. Now let's put our stuff back where it belongs. Let's look at the next case. That is that between the A and the B, there's two dots. Okay, right here between the A and the B. I looked at them when I first started out and said, how am I going to use that? What is that? Can I do an S3XL there? Can I just start a long pattern there? Yeah, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, warp it up, 4, 5, 6. I'm all over the keyboard now. I'm great. And that is a great way to play. I mean, no matter how you play, as long as you play good, you know, and put your feeling into it, that you can do. But the way that I wanted to associate these two notes, A and B. Now these are the bottom two notes. Even though the dot's in the middle, that's not where those notes are, because the dots are actually in the middle of the string. They're not even on a particular note. Have you noticed that? They're not where you'd put your finger. They're in between two strings. So the dots are actually the note that's on the top and the bottom. What can we do with A and B? Well, we only have two notes. There's only one pattern that has two notes on the top and the bottom. That's the A pattern. If we look at the A and the B, what is B the sixth of, and what is A the fifth of? Okay, right here, B is the sixth of A. There's the sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I think I messed up. Oh yeah, it's the D shape. Sorry. So we've got 5, 6. A is the 5th of D, and B is the 6th of D. Sorry. It's that simple. It's that simple. I know the hard part. I mess up the easy part because I'm always thinking in fourths, and I just don't make it up to that 5th mentally, much less the 6th. So that would be your D shape there. So between this dot on the A note and this dot on the B note, we can play an A-shaped D. Now, what does that mean? So here's your A note and here's the B note. So the A-shaped D is, and here's the regular D. See, they're the same. So theoretically, what we could do at this point with that D shape is just all this could go away, right? Now the dots aren't going to go away, but all this can go away, let's say temporarily. This is our starting point. This is our key. We are here. From here, say you're blindfolded and people say you're going to start here, take 5 steps forward and 1 step to the right. If you started over here, you might end up walking into a puddle or something. All right, so you want to start at your starting point between these 2 dots, and then the other A shapes fall into place. So your A, the 5th of A is the 5th of D rather is A. Okay, it's going to be key of D A shaped, but we want the key of D, so we're actually going to be starting here, but it's A shaped key of D. So where would that be? Okay, let's get that. Okay, so here's our A shaped key of D. Here's our 5 and here's our 6. All right, and the point is that from that key, from that starting point, we can go anywhere in the key of D. All right, so between the A and the B, all right, we have our A-shaped key of D. If we do a C-shaped key of D, we can go from there down to the next cage. So put your finger on the sharing note. So that's our key. It's our starting point. I think I've made my point there. I think I've made my point about that starting point there. So let's put things back in the full chart, and let's move along. Let's look at the next 2 dots. The dot between the B and the C sharp. What is that? Looks like the same A shape there. Anytime you have the 2 or a whole note in between, it's a 5/6 bottom string of an A shape. Right there, 5/6. That, if you're in the key of A, okay, your fret nut would be there. That would be the main fret nut. E would be the 5th of A. There's your A, 5 root 3. And it would be 5/6 right there. So 5/6 between the B and the C sharp. Now what do we got? Well, what is B the 5th of? Well, B is the 5th of E, is it not? And C sharp is the 6th of E. So that is the key of E right there. So let's look at that again. This is now our new key point. It's our entry point for the key of E. All this can go away, and it's going to get a little complicated when we get to the one that has 3 choices. Now we're looking at the key of E, 5/6, which is the A shape between B and C sharp. Key of E. Now we want to look at the whole picture of E. We can do that.